Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. It's your only friend, these YouTube streets, Puertorock 77, back with another hot take. If you're new to the channel, welcome. But let's get right into this. So today's topic is deception in industry and how gamers are allowing this deception to thrive simply because of their loyalty to a platform. And it's so let's retract this, right? It's been an interesting couple of years, over the last year or so, of things that's happening in the gaming industry that we noticed with the evolution of certain platforms and social media and how we are able to gain information and tie information. You know, a situation where once it's on the internet, it will forever be on the internet. We've noticing a trend in the community of the industry taking advantage of the consumer base through lies, deceptions in order to further their own mean. I think all of us know the term yellow chair gang, right? How many hyped up cyberpunk, they got free swag and all this stuff. It made pretty much told lies to the gaming community about how great the game is and how it's running great. And then when the game actually came out for the platforms where a majority of the people were going to play on, which was PlayStation 1, Xbox One, the game was broken. To the point where even the developer or the publishers that represent CD Projekt Red, they admitted that, yeah, they made a mistake and they knew that was happening, but they still decided to release the game. We've seen journalists talk about how they favor one company over another based on how much stuff they receive, how much free swag they get. So we already seen a level of deception and dishonesty, okay? To further that, we recently, about a month ago, saw reviewers actually admit that they don't even beat the games that they review. That they partially play it and they make up reasons of, well, I don't have time, which is kind of weird because that's your job. So you do have time, since, you know, the time you spend at work is reviewing games. But anyway, some are legit, like their publisher or their employee doesn't give them enough time. I could get that. Or maybe the publisher of the game hasn't released a review copy and released it in time enough for them to have it ready for release date. I could get that. But for the most part, a lot of these journalists, they try to justify, for the most part, on reviewing games that they don't beat. Colin Moriarty even made a statement, as you see right here. He says, "I'm surprised seeing some critics admit to not beating games they review as a habit. If I didn't beat a game for a review at IGN, which was rare, it was typically that review's thesis, and I always transparently noted my progress. A lot of hand-wringing for a job people dream of." I mentioned when it came to this that if a reviewer really was honest, right? If they feel no issue about reviewing a game that they didn't beat, then why don't you put a disclaimer at the forefront? Because the reality is, a lot of gamers that we review, they assuming that you're beating the game. But if you think it's okay, then make that statement. Obviously, they're not going to do that because they know better, right? Well, anyway, in the sea of dishonesty, deception, something came up recently. So a director of IGN decided, just made an opinion on Twitter saying that he plays in Justin Davis, and I'll just read it directly what he says. "I play an Xbox game literally every night, and I haven't turned on my PS5 on in 2 months. Return looks great, but it is $70. Game Pass is just too good to ignore. PS5's library will get there someday, and it will be expensive." So, this man, Justin Davis, went out on his Twitter with his opinion, saying that he can't honestly tell people to get a PS5 when he's playing so much on his Xbox Series X. And that is his opinion. And he further explains that he plays on it every day, every night, while he doesn't even touch his PS5 in 2 months. Okay. He notes about how, the PS5 will someday get there and all that. But the thing is, what draw this tweet to attention? Sure, are there some people who got triggered by this or who are upset that, that he said don't buy a PS5, or he can't recommend a PS5 because of Xbox Series X? I think where people tied that is where he made the claim, and maybe he thought it was a positive, PS5's library will get there someday, and that's where the hook people grabbed on. That's what grabbed me. So you're saying PS5's library will someday get there, but you're buying an Xbox Series X pertaining to what library? Because that's where the confusion was at. And that's where a lot of people were confused. They're like, wait a minute. So he's not playing the PlayStation 5 because PS5 doesn't really have a PS5 library because there's not a lot of PS5 games. Then what are you doing on Xbox? Because Xbox has even less Xbox Series X games. It's mostly Xbox One games. Some may be enhanced, whatever. But it just didn't sit right with a lot of people because this message is confusing, right? Or not confusing. It didn't match. Now, if he would have said, hey, I can't recommend a PS5 because right now, PS Now, he could have said, hey, I don't recommend PS5 because the library is not big enough. And right now, PS Now is not as good a service as Xbox with Game Pass. Granted, Xbox Series X don't have a library either. So it's really all about the current gen games and older games, to which Xbox does it better because you got Game Pass and they do a better job of FPS boost and all this stuff. That probably would have been like, okay, that makes sense. But that's not how he related the information. So some people are like, wait, this doesn't sound right. In fact, it doesn't even make sense the way he's trying to advertise. So lo and behold, some people did a little digging, did some research. And this is gamer tag. And as you can see in circles, he didn't play his Xbox in over 2 weeks by the time he made that tweet. Now look back at his tweet. I play an Xbox game literally every night at the time of this post. And yet, by that point, he hasn't touched his Xbox in 2 weeks. Once he got caught in this lie, of course, he privatized it. Now he privatized his account. Now nobody could keep track, right? So he got caught. He is a liar for whatever reason. Potentially, the only thing that makes sense is the swag. Yellow chair mentality. He probably got something. Maybe he got some Microsoft swag. There is something he's selling, which he put that out, right? The real problem is that he blatantly lied, which is proof, absolute proof. There is no question, no doubt he got caught red-handed. He lied, okay? He does not play an Xbox game literally every night or whatever. He hasn't even touched it in 2 weeks, right? And given the fact that Returnal came out 2 weeks ago, we could assume that's really what he's playing, right? Despite the fact that it's $70. With that said, we got fanboys of the Xbox brand defending him and trying to chastise the gamers who put in the effort to find out the truth. Is this guy genuine? Just like, is a reviewer genuine when it comes to reviewing games that they didn't beat? It got so bad that this one person, and of course I erased the name because this channel, I don't want no heat on his account or whatever. But this dude replied saying, did you just compare doxing to social media jabs with brand accounts? This dude, right, compared looking up someone's achievements, or if it was PlayStation trophies, to actually doxing. Which, if you don't know, doxing is somebody researching your personal information, such as address, IP address, social security, things of personal nature. You understand? PII, personal identifiable information. Birthdays, addresses, things that can actually lead to stolen identity, or maybe somebody trespassing on your property, things like that. Apparently, looking at someone's achievements and trophies has now reached that level. That's how much damage control these Xbox fanboys have gotten to defend this. Never mind that the fact that the person lied about the Xbox brand, all right, or actually him playing. The lie doesn't matter, right? What matters is, people are exposed or putting in the time to expose someone like that. Let's all be frank here. Number one, if anything, you Xbox guys absolutely do not want people to fraud and make positive claims about the Xbox only to be exposed that is not true. You want people to stay away from that. Because the problem is, the more this happens, it's going to get to the point where no Xbox influencer will be trusted because people will automatically assume that person's lying. That person's making it up. So that's the last thing you want. Let me put this scenario, okay? Imagine if I go out right now and I tell you all, right, wherever town you live in, whatever, I recommend a great seafood restaurant. I tell you, hey, this seafood restaurant opened up in your neighborhood. I eat there almost every night because the seafood is delicious. Yo, you got to go out there and eat that seafood. You got to go out there. Go out to this restaurant, eat the seafood. It is delicious. Especially if you love seafood. Delicious. Every night, I either eat there or I get it to go. I just can't help it. That's all I've been eating every night. Absolutely delicious. Go check it out. Okay? And you hear me with this recommendation. So I'm giving you my opinion that this seafood restaurant is amazing. My opinion, right? That's part of defense. So you go out there, invite your boy, homie, homegirl, whatever. But like, hey, yo, Puertorock, that dude recommends this seafood restaurant. Let's go out there and eat. We're going to check it out because I like seafood. And then the person that you invited asks you, wait, hold up. You said Puertorock? He recommended this seafood place for you to eat because it's good? And you tell that person, yeah, he said he eats there every night. What if that person tells you, bro, Puertorock's allergic to seafood. He can't eat that shit. He doesn't eat seafood. He's allergic. So there's no way he could tell you the seafood's great. There's no way he can eat it because he'll die. What would you say to me then? Or would you still say, well, that's his opinion? Don't expose the dude. It's his opinion. He says the seafood restaurant is great. He gets to say that. Leave him alone. You guys would accept that? You guys would accept me recommending a seafood place when there's no possible way I will know how good the place is because I'm be allergic to the damn thing. So yes, it's my opinion that the seafood restaurant is great, but based on what? I didn't eat it. I'm allergic to it. So what's the underlying cause? Oh, I'll tell you the underlying cause. It's my cousin who opened up a seafood restaurant and I'm just trying to help him be more successful. There you go. There's the underlying cause. There's the truth. Because my statement doesn't match my opinion of how great the place is. So there has to be an underlying truth. There has to be another reason. Why would Puertorock recommend a seafood restaurant that he made a claim he eats every day, but the reality is he can't eat the food because he's allergic to it? We don't get it. There's got to be some type of... It's a deceptive move. Why? And that's the problem with this industry. And the reality is you have gamers that are allowing that. They're going after the people. You should be thankful that there's dudes exposing the truth. They should be thankful that there's another layer of people within the industry lying to consumers about what they do, what products they sell, and what you to get, knowing damn well they're not doing what they say they're doing. For all you know, he could hate Xbox and hardly plays it at all. For all you know. Okay? Considering his gamer score is around 36,000, if he's been playing Xbox since Achievements first came out in 2006, that's pretty low for something that came out. Oh my God, 2006 is like what? Blah blah blah. Oh my God, 15 years ago? 15 years ago? He probably doesn't play a lot of Xbox at all. You never know. You don't know what he's actually doing. Okay. Here's the thing: the fact that he privatized his trophies, all that brings up another point. Colin Murray says. Trophies and achievements are an awesome tool to see how your favorite critic, pundits, podcasters, streamers, etc. interact with games. I always encourage my audience to check out my trophies just to keep up with what I'm playing at the time. It's a good auto communicator. And that's the point. If you see reviewers, journalists, podcasters privatizing their trophies, they're doing it because trophies prevents them from being deceptive. And they need to be deceptive because that's just their platform. That is just what they want to do. And trophies and achievements block them from doing that. They don't get to say what they want to say because trophies and achievements puts them in check. Just like Colin said, it's an auto communicator. Your trophy, your gamer tag speaks for itself. It tells the tale. It tells you if you play games or not. It tells you what games you played, what you beat. It validates whatever you try to say or whatever you try to push. People who hide their trophies or whatever, again, it's not like people are going to steal your identity by having your trophies and achievements open to the public. That's not going to happen, So when people privatize it, right, and people could say, oh, no, I do it because, I block, I get weird messages, whatever. I block messages. I can't receive, because I've received a lot of racist messages, real stuff. My messages are blocked. You can set certain parameters of privacy in your profile. No one, no random person could just send me a message on PSN. But guess what? My trophies and the games I play and that is still open to the public. It's not like I shut down my whole account. I just shut down the communications that I receive from people who are not on my friends list. It's open on my friends list, so my friends list, they can send me a message or send me an invite, whatever. I just don't have it open to the public for messaging. But my trophies is still open to the public. I have nothing to hide. Why would I hide the things I do as a gamer? It's the stuff I do as a gamer. It's right there. It speaks for itself. It's an auto communicator. Right now, you have people accepting deception, lies, people being fraud in the industry. Because what's most important to them is the loyalty behind the box. Which is crazy. Like, I just don't get it. I understand, enjoying your box. And I understand even trash talking on Twitter and console warring, right? But when you have human beings who are lying to you about a product, and chances are they are lying because they have some level of personal gain from it at the expense of providing you misinformation, I don't see why any group would endorse that, And there's probably some people like that in PlayStation, Nintendo side, whatever. I would not accept that, I don't. I have stuff on my channel blasting Sony for some of their misleading statements. One of the biggest ones, which caused a huge turmoil, was when Mark Cerny talked about 8.4 T-flops or whatever. I shut that nonsense down real quick with that misceptions reading because it's a misleading thing. I knew exactly what Sony tried to do, and I called it out. It's just I will not side on being deceptive or misleading or lying to other people, because at a certain point you just got to be a human being with some type of morals or ethics. You just gotta be it. And some people say, oh, it's just video games. I don't believe in picking and choosing when you could be ethical or moral. It doesn't work that way. You're either ethical or you're not. It doesn't. You being tested on your ethics and morals happens in any scenario at any given moment. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Whether it's taking a quarter from the purse of your mom or robbing a bank or whatever, people could be like, oh, it's certain levels. No, you either do the right thing or you don't. Okay. And every opportunity you get to choose or not choose the right thing, or do the wrong thing, that just builds on your overall character. If you take scenarios where you're not ethical, right? You just lie. No matter what the scenario is, you're building up a profile where you're making it easier to lie. And then when the day something serious comes, where you really need to test your mettle, that's when the true testing comes. And you'll most likely fail, because you don't know how to be honest. Because you spend so much time lying, or just deceiving, or being deceptive, or whatever. So I'm never going to be deceptive or lie. I never try to convince somebody to buy a PlayStation with a lie or whatever. I really don't care if a person buys a PlayStation now. It's not my business. It's not my money. I had people come up to my DMs for years, even last gen, ask me, their opinion. Even people recently asking me, what should I get, a PS5 or Xbox Series X? I did not go straight up and say, get a PlayStation 5. The first question I always ask, if anyone ever asks me what console they should get, I ask them, what games do you like to play? That's my first question. 2, do you have friends that play, and what console do they play on? You know what I'm saying? I'm asking these questions to find out what this person, because sometimes people don't realize they already know the console they want to play. They just haven't put 2 and 2 together. So that's what I really do. I really don't give them advice on what console they play. What I do is I ask them questions that can lead to, yeah, no shit, I like this console, based on the answers I give them. That's really what I do. I never really convince the person to buy any console. I just keep asking questions until they realize, based on the answers they give, you know what? Yeah, you're right. This is the console that I like. I'm like, there you go. You know exactly what you wanted. You just needed to hear yourself say it. So that's really what I do, But there's something about this community that are accepting liars and frauds. And the funny thing is, I don't understand what's the game. It's not like you guys lying is going to make Xbox sell better. That's not going to happen. I'm going to promise you. No company is going to be successful that way with a bunch of dudes on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, lying about their product. The product has to sell itself, and the only people that's responsible or even capable of making that happen is the people who make the product. based on the decisions they make, the games they make, the advertisements. They're the ones that are solely responsible for that. All this stuff that we do on Twitter or whatever, that doesn't change the polls, right? The fake images, like now Ratchet & Clank looks bad, whatever, none of that's going to change. The games are going to speak for themselves. The quality content going to speak for themselves. And how Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, whatever brand, how they manage their marketing strategies and stuff. That's what's going to help sell the console. So all this lying and nonsense, I don't get it. You're just making yourselves look foolish and suspect and stuff. And what you're definitely doing is you're allowing the industry to be just as deceptive, right? And if you accept that now, do not be angry when they flip back around you. Because the way they're lying about the Xbox Series X, they could, about how great it is, 2-3 years, they could flip the script and say Xbox is trash, whatever, simply because the tides are turned and now Sony's giving more money, or because of the success of the PS5, they feel you could get more stuff there, whatever. Whatever's their own personal gain is how they could switch between one product or another. You know? Don't accept deceptions from the industry, especially this is their job. They want to be journalists. Now, granted, I don't expect them to be like, you know, Eyewitness News or 2020 and all that stuff, you know, covering the war effort, the Middle East crisis, only weird stuff like that. But at the very least, if you're going to recommend a product and say you play it every day, can you at least actually play it every day? That's all we're asking. But you let me know what you guys think. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you subscribe. I have a podcast every Tuesday with J-Dub, Optimus Cole, Craig Harris, Jay Barry. It's a great podcast. Happens every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 60 frames no lag. And I also push out a lot of these hot takes every once in a while. Should be every Thursday, but I'll be honest, Returnal has been keeping me busy, so I've been at that really hard. But anyway, welcome to the channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I'm glad you're enjoying the content and sticking around. See you guys Tuesday. This is your boy Puertorock 77, your only friend in this deceptive YouTube streets. And I'm out of here. Peace.